Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are with Quinn and Street Project. My name is Miss Danielle. My pronouns are she, her. And with me, I have.
Mr. Bryan, and my pronouns are he and him.
And we are on to our sixth lesson of our program. So today we are going to be talking about East Asian visual and performing arts. But first, before we get to that, I want us to do a little check-in, okay? So I want you to reach your hands out. And I want you to cross them. Turn your palms towards each other. Give yourself a high five. Grab those fingers and pull them into your chest. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Give yourself a big hug. Squeeze tight. Oh, very good. And then keeping your eyes closed, I want you to show me from 1 to 3. Hold up a 1 if you're feeling not too good today. 2, doing okay. And 3, I'm doing awesome. Show me how you're doing today. Any number is okay. I just want to check in to see how you're doing. All right, go ahead and put that away. You can open your eyes. Take another deep breath in. Breathe out. Okay. So today's lesson, it uses a lot of big emotions and feelings. So I want to do a warm-up that's going to help explode our acting tools. And does anybody remember those acting tools? We have 3 of them. We have our body, we have our voice, and we have our imagination. I want you to use all of those tools. Let's warm them up. I want you to rub your hands together. So nice and hot. And then when you have that ball of energy, I want you to pat it all over your body as fast as you can. Woo. Pat, 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 pat. Good. One more time. Get nice and hot. Ooh, mine's too hot. Blow it a little. And then this time I want big brushes all over your body. Whoosh, whoosh. Brush it all over. Woo. Woo. Good. Shake it out. And we're going to shake our hands and our feet as fast as we can. And we're going to count it down from 8. So we're going to do 8 with the right hand, 8 with the left hand, 8 with the right foot. You can't see my foot, but it's up. 8 with the left foot. And then we're going to break it down to 4, 4, 4, 4. Then 2, 2, 2, 2. And 1, 1, 1, 1. Are you ready? Here we go. Shake it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 1, 1, 1. Did you make it? I did it so hard. My computer is shaking. It said, Miss Danielle, what are you doing? Okay. Now I want you to put your hands on your hips and give me your favorite superhero pose. Da, da, da. Big, big chest, as big as you can go. And then bring it in. Your evilest villain, chest in, your eyebrows. You can curl your hands and give me your evilest villain laugh. Very good. One more time, your favorite superhero. Da, da, da. Bring in that villain chest. Very good. And I want you to close your eyes. Think for a second. What is the most outrageous, silly, wild sound that you can make? And on the count, just think it. Just think it. On the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes and you're going to shout out that sound as best as you can. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Those were very silly. Awesome. Okay. I think everybody is probably pretty warmed up for this. So I'm going to pass it to Mr. Bryan. He has some really cool pictures and other information to share about this visual and performing art that we're talking about today. Take it away.
Thanks, Miss Danielle. All right. And so, as Miss Danielle said, we are going to be talking about East Asian visual and performing arts. And I'm going to slide in a little bit here. All right. And Danielle, can you hear me okay? Okay, I just want to make sure my mic is queued up. All right, so we're going to start by talking about Kabuki Theater. Now, Kabuki Theater is a form of Japanese theater that was created by women in the 1600s. Now, what is Kabuki? Good question. Kabuki uses makeup and like outrageous design elements to bring life to morality tales. You know how we talked about in story structure, the moral of the story, the lesson of the story. So Kabuki uses makeup and outrageous design elements to bring life to those morality tales that often end in tragedy. Now, the acting style of Kabuki, it probably tends to be, not probably, it tends to be over the top and heightened. Now, echoes of Kabuki theater actually show up now in something called anime and manga, as Kabuki was predominantly based in building heightened worlds and featuring stories from oral tradition. Now, anime is actually this Japanese form of art. Now, in anime would, I guess, be the visual element that has more in terms of the movies and the television shows, and manga is what you'd find in terms of like the graphic novels or the comic books. Now, the similarities between the two is, while you might find anime in different styles and across everywhere now, like I'm sure even Netflix has their versions, but every, like anything, it sprinkles across, spreads across to other cultures, but it's rooted in Japanese tradition, and it has very like vibrant colors. And I'm just trying to speak of this from the heart without giving it like a by the book textbook definition. It has roots in oral tradition and culture. So I'm wondering actually right now, because in the traditional Japanese anime, what you have is a lot of stories that I'm comparing, like I would say the traditions and values, not only like from like years past, but of the current time, are expressed in kind of a commentary on life and morality tales and lessons. And it's really interesting because obviously connecting to our Kabuki lesson, Kabuki theme. So one of my favorites in terms of both anime and manga, because they tend to have a similarity in terms of you have both when we're telling the story, is from a studio called Studio Ghibli. And one of the creators, his name is Miyazaki. And let me see if I can pull up the image here. Let's make sure. And Miss Anna, can you actually pause for me for a second? All right. And we are back with some images here that I'm going to attempt sharing. So I'm going to hit this button and we're going to hope for the best. Yeah. Look at that. Okay. So make sure that's there. So one of the things about anime that we're going to find, and I'm going to do this so I can flip it between the tab, is thematically, they're very strong with the characters and the ideas and the traditions that they try to instill within the story. Now, one of my favorites, we're talking about Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli, is Howl's Moving Castle. And I'll see if I can pull that up completely here. And in case you're wondering, it is about a castle that moves, hence Howl's Moving Castle. And Howl's Moving Castle is actually steeped in the idea of magic and the story of a girl who all of a sudden gets a spell put on her, and she goes from being a teenager into like an older lady, and she has to get the help of a magician to help change her back. But as you can see, the styles are very vibrant, exaggerated. We have our characters here. slide this over. You can see the drawing, like the expression exaggerations, and move along here. We also have one of my favorites called Spirited Away. And one of my favorite images here is about the tradition or the belief of the spirits and needing to take a break on the holiday. And a little girl gets lost in that world during their break. And the last one that I'm going to talk about without scaring you too much, and actually talking about this might give it away. So I'm going to try my best here. So sorry, it's been on for a few years. So catch up. It's called Attack on Titan. Now, Attack on Titan, in its core storytelling form, again, I keep saying thematically because there's a bigger picture. Just like life, it's not just about one thing. It's not just about you and me. It's about the bigger picture. And that's what I love about anime, and specifically about this story. Attack on Titan, and I'm showing you a corner of a picture, but see these kids, all right? They're looking at something. What are they looking at? Let's see if I got this right. Dun, dun, dun. That is a giant, a Titan. Terrifying, I know. Now, on the surface, it is about a society that is attacked by these giants. And it's pretty cool, right? It's futuristic. That element is also in there, exploring ideas that just almost like a science fiction or fantasy. Not almost, it is, where we're taking these ideas and like where they could take us in terms of nature, in terms of society, in terms of culture, and really expanding upon that idea. Now, I said giants, I said, but there's something more to it, something we talk about also in drama and theater, and that's subtext. There's another meaning into this bigger picture, this bigger theme. Now, the reason I'm harping on this is because, again, try not to get this away, but there is a bigger picture, a bigger commentary on what Attack on Titan actually is. Now, the way things are, the way that we use our resources, the way that class structure is built, the way its status is built, the story of Attack on Titan is actually looking at the extremes, of course, through giants, through the Titans, and really asking ourselves to look inward and what's going on in the world today. And yes, it's an extreme, but oh, it's so cool. You just have to watch it, okay? But there's more to it, and there's more questioning in that morality tale that really is a look inward to where we are today, which will take us into the future. What will take us into the future? So that is what I'm going to share about that, because it's there's so many animes and there's so many commentaries, and just look at just take a look and you'll find something that you like, because I know someone else here has an anime they're really into. I'm not sure. I think it was Miss Anna.
It is me. It's me, 'tis I. I wanted to share my favorite anime, which is also a Hayao Miyazaki film, just like Mr. Bryan was talking about with Howl's Moving Castle. Another Miyazaki classic is called Ponyo, Ponyo. And Ponyo is based on the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale of The Little Mermaid, which you may have seen the Disney movie of The Little Mermaid. It was one of my all-time favorite movies growing up. I drew mermaids every day. I wanted to be a mermaid. I secretly am a mermaid. Don't tell anyone. But I loved mermaid lore. And when I got a little bit older, I read the original story and I noticed that it was much sadder, and that, there's been a lot of conversation in the, Little Mermaid came out in 1989, the movie. The story is much older than that. And a lot of people talk a lot about kind of two different things about The Little Mermaid. And some are, one element of the story is kind of a progressive story, and the other element is a very regressive story. So I'll start with the regressive kind of storyline, which is that in the Disney movie, it's kind of shallow to believe that Ariel, you know, fell in love with this stranger so quickly without talking. You know, he doesn't really get to know her. He doesn't really know what she's about. You know, as a kid, I thought, it doesn't matter. It's love. Love is magic. And, you know, you certainly can watch the movie with that. I still watch the movie with that lens and, you know, have a fine time. But looking back, maybe it's not a great message to folks to say that you should get rid of everything that you know about your life, everything you know about your family, and go, you know, follow this person who's never talked to you before. So that's kind of the regressive storyline. The progressive storyline that people have also talked about is similar to a lot of conversations around gender or about the way we feel inside versus the way that we've been born on the outside. And Ariel, you know, there's a theme within The Little Mermaid that Ariel has always been a human, has always, you know, felt human, has always wanted to be a part of human life, has always been more drawn to human culture. And that is very interesting to think about, that maybe she is pursuing this reality that is true to herself that she's always been. More importantly, Ponyo loves ham. So Ponyo is I'm going to show you Ponyo's photo at the beginning of the movie. So Ponyo is based on the Little Mermaid Hans Christian Andersen myth, which also, when I said that it's sadder and darker, what I mean by that is in the original myth, or the original oral fairy tale, I don't remember the name of I don't think the Little Mermaid has a name in the Hans Christian Andersen story. I think she's just the Little Mermaid. If she doesn't get the prince to fall in love with her, then she's going to turn into sea foam, and she's going to be haunted forevermore to just live as sea foam on the ocean. And that's how that ends, is that she's just, you know, kind of living on top of the water near this person that she loves but doesn't really get to be with. Ponyo has that same shared mythology. Ponyo is a fishy, but as you can see, Ponyo's kind of a human-ish fishy, and she kind of has an interesting, you know, facial expression. And I think I have a different photo of her as a fishy later. But Ponyo actually her life is saved by a human boy named Sasuke. And Sasuke cuts his finger when he's saving her, and some of it gets licked up by Ponyo while she's unconscious. And all of a sudden, she can magically transform herself into human form. But what's interesting about it to me, and what we're talking about with anime being kind of over the top and very surreal, is that Ponyo doesn't go straight from fishy to human. She has an in-between form, which is this kind of chicken looking, you know, self that I think is very funny and very cute. And, you know, we may not have thought, you know, how weird would it be if the Disney Little Mermaid had Ariel looking kind of like a chicken fish in the middle of it? We don't get that. She always looks kind of, you know, traditionally attractive for the whole movie. But Ponyo gets to look like a weird little blobfish with chicken legs and little chicken arms. And I think that is great. And it also kind of reflects, Sasuke loves her exactly in her weird chicken form too. Sasuke thinks she's cool as a fish, thinks she's cool as chicken person, and then ultimately as a human. And this is Ponyo running on the water with a big fish, which is not really a fish. It's just kind of the spirit of the ocean. And I wanted to show one more photo of Ponyo in her green bucket, because this is how Sasuke saves her. And which you can see over here, she finds the green bucket immediately. And that's kind of her token to show Sasuke, I'm Ponyo, I'm the same fish. And it's so magical and over the top. And it's so unique to see this story told with really high stakes, because Ponyo could end up being Seafoam if Sasuke doesn't really love her. But also, Sasuke is like a little boy and she's a little girl, and their love is not a romantic love. It's just a love, like how you love your friends and how you love your family. And, um, their love story is very simple and very pure. And Sasuke, says at the end of the movie, again, spoiler alerts for Ponyo, that he loves her exactly in all of these great forms. And she loves him. And, he introduces her to eating ramen with ham, and she loves ham. And Ponyo loves ham. So that's my spiel about storytelling, mythology, and Ponyo.
Before you end with that, by the way, thank you, Ms. Ham.
Oh,
Thank you,
yes.
thank you. One is because we're still talking about Ponyo. I wanted to actually add, so the magical element. Okay, first off, I'm gonna rewind. I get excited when I like hear and talk about this, so I was trying to slow down. The thing about Ponyo, the difference between we have our version of Little Mermaid, even the Hans Christian Andersen, the core story, is it's specific to the culture. So right now, the Miyazaki, the Japanese version, the love story is about just what Miss Anna said. It's about their version, looking at the love, just love, right? With the friendship, the love that we have for each other, for Ponyo has for Sosuke and him. So it's a little bit different. And in that version as well, we're looking at what the I guess the core elements of values. That's what I'm looking for. Values. And their version, while both stories have magic elements to it, the thing that I remember when you're talking is something just fell. That's okay. The thing that's similar but different is they have more of an emphasis in magic. Now, Disney, I'm sorry, don't get me in trouble, Disney, but Disney, while they had magic elements to it, it was specific in those moments. It didn't go beyond that. In Ponyo, there's a magical world that we actually go into. There's a whole magic realm, and it's a very active part of the entire story, not just specific moments that are crucial to plot. It's about the entire world, and it's a very important element to that storytelling, that culture. And the last thing I'm going to say is,
I want to say something about that.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Exactly related to that, the stakes of the father figure are very different in the Disney Little Mermaid versus Ponyo, because in the Little Mermaid, King Triton just wants Ariel to stay home. Now, he's not fully wrong. She's only 16. She's very, very young. But it's very possessive of him to just say, no, you cannot. No, you are not a human. You must stay here. That's it. I'm the boss. I'm the king. Done. Whereas Ponyo's father figure, the stakes are much different. And what Mr. Bryan was just talking about with morality, it's very different, because Ponyo's father figure, whose name I can't recall, unfortunately, I'm sorry to the red-haired king of the ocean, his stakes are different because if Ponyo leaves the ocean, the balance of the entire ocean will change and could be, and he knows that if Sasuke is not pure of heart and doesn't really love Ponyo, Ponyo might turn into Seafoam, like in the Hans Christian Andersen. And so his stakes are a little bit higher, again, fueled by the morality and the themes of what Hayao Miyazaki was trying to say with this particular story. Back to Mr. Bryan.
All right, thank you, Ms. Anna. There's so many things. I'll try not to keep talking about this, but the thing that also is really important, sticking with Ponyo, thematically, all right, I can't say that enough. I'm going to keep saying it. Thematically, across all those stories, again, specific to culture, but specific to what matters and their values. Nature is very important in those stories. Now, in Ponyo, there's even direct mention of dialogue in the magical realm about the way that we treat nature, and it's very active parts. The visuals are very strong, and maybe even not maybe, it is a little exaggerated, but to emphasize like the morality tale, like what we can look inward and see. And that's it's just a really cool element, very important. And also the idea of nature fighting back, because there's even, you know, the flooding and like what happens when we, you know, mess with our ecosystem. And the cool part thematically about anime is that not only is it, you know, you have to think about the bigger picture, but you have to think about it long term. Now, I know some of you already know this, but you know, there's an anime called Pokemon. There's other animes that have been around years and years and years. And yes, who does not like a cute creature and drawings? But you know, not just nature, but there's thematic elements that are important and that creates that importance across, you know, years, decades, that are important, and that just to our core, just we relate to, and we are able to carry those um, across time. So boom, that's my button,
Across
because
generations. That's what I think
there we
you're
go.
looking for, is that these are generations, stories passed down from generation to generation, which cues us exactly into you at home. Your generation is important. It's important for you to know all of this, because Miss Danielle is about to tell you what you are now called upon to do, my friends.
That's right. So I want you to be artists today, okay? So you don't have to do anything in the style of kabuki or manga anime style. You can, I think that would be great. But using your own drawing and art skills, I want you to take some time on your own to create a piece of art. And I want it to show who and where you're thinking about. So if you were creating a story, we have our 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. I want you to include who is in the story and where it is in this drawing. And when you do that, I want you to be thinking about, why am I drawing this picture? Okay, so that's going to bring up the idea of what Mr. Bryan was saying. What is the theme? If you were to continue drawing more pictures to create the story, what is the theme that you are drawing about? Why are you drawing this picture? What message are you trying to send? So you can use any kind of medium you want. You can use crayons, you can use paint, you can just draw with pencil or pen, whatever works for you, whatever you have on hand, use that. Take as much time as you need, and then share with us what you've created. You can take a photo, email it to us, whatever you can do to send us your artwork. We would love to see what you create. And then please share with us too, when you send, what you created and why you created that piece. And you can be as creative as you want. Remember, we're looking for things that are over the top and exaggerated, big explosive colors, exaggerated facial expressions if you're drawing like animals or human characters. Okay, so take all of those things into consideration and then go and create whoever you want.
And have fun with it, friends. Like just like the world of anime, that what we're talking about, just exaggerate. Don't think a little bit, but put that thing, take your brain and put it into your drawing, however you're going to do it, and just create. All right, there's no wrong answer. There is just listen to what's important to you and just start creating over and over, one time, two times, however many times.
And if you are already into any anime and manga, think about the ones that you really like and why you like them. What is it about those pieces that are interesting to you? And then use that kind of inspiration for what you're going to create. Okay.
And
Can't wait to see what you do.
please send recommendations, because I need new animes to watch, new mangas to read. So we would appreciate that. Give the list to your teacher. Send us the list. whatever you got to do. I need it. That is your assignment as well. That is your bonus assignment. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us today. We had a really great talk about this wonderful area of the corner of the world of art. There's so much we can do with art, and this is just one wonderful example. So next week on lesson 7, or whenever you do this, maybe it'll be tomorrow or right after this, who knows? We're going to be talking about South Asian art influences in Bollywood. So I hope you join us next time. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.